I want to start today with a number that honestly kind of kept me up last night.
Yeah.
Depending on which study you look at, somewhere between 55 and, get this, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
It's a statistic that should terrify everyone. I mean, we're not just talking about low-income brackets here.
No, not at all.
We are talking about the majority of the population having zero, and I mean zero, wiggle room.
Right. You pay the rent, you buy groceries, and then poof.
And suddenly the bank account is at zero. No money for a vacation, no gifts, and definitely nothing left for investing.
The part that just drives me crazy is that we use money every single day.
Of course.
It costs money to eat, to get to work, to keep the lights on. But nobody actually teaches us how the machine works.
Yeah.
We just follow this script, go to school, get a job, spend the income. But, I mean, looking at those numbers, that script seems like a recipe for disaster.
It is. And, it's not an accident. The system is quite literally rigged.
Okay, rigged is a strong word.
It is, but I don't mean it in a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory way. I mean it structurally. The economic system is designed to benefit the financially educated.
The investors.
Exactly, the investors.
Yeah.
And to penalize the uneducated, the consumers.
I have to push back a little, though. Rigged implies there's some guy in a back room pulling levers to make us poor.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it just that, people are spending more than they earn?
That's part of it, but think about the environment we live in. We are in a credit-based economy, so let's just look at the mechanics of it.
Okay.
If you earn $100 and you go out and spend that $100 in cash, you've made a corporation $100 richer.
Right. Simple transaction. I get my stuff, they get the cash.
Transaction over.
Right.
But that's not how most people spend today, is it?
No, it's all in plastic.
Because of Visa, Amex, MasterCard, you now have the ability to spend money you don't even have. So if you spend that 100 plus another 50 on credit, you've now made the corporation richer and you've made the bank richer through interest and fees.
So the system actually incentivizes me to spend $150 when I only earned $100.
Precisely. The entire corporate world, the banks, the marketers with their fancy MBAs, they're all optimized to get you to overextend.
So if you don't have a financial shield, some kind of education on this,
You're a cog. You're a cog in a machine designed to transfer wealth from your pocket to theirs. It pushes you to become a heavy consumer, not an owner.
That distinction, consumer versus owner, that seems to be the heart of it.
It's everything.
So if the machine is designed to drain us, we need a new operating system.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to the climb to wealth. We're pulling this from a really incredible conversation with Jaspreet Singh. You might know him as the Minority Mindset. We're going to cover the mechanics, like AI investing, but we have to start where he starts.
With the psychology.
With the psychology.
Which is so smart because you cannot build wealth with a brain that's wired for poverty. And Jaspreet makes a really crucial distinction here. Poverty isn't genetic. There is no DNA sequence that says you will be poor. But there is a mindset that gets passed down like a family heirloom.
It's that phrase we've all heard growing up. We can't afford that.
That phrase is poison. It normalizes scarcity. Jaspreet shared this story from when he was teaching in Detroit public schools it illustrates this perfectly.
Okay.
He asked these kids from a very rough, underfunded district what their absolute dream car was.
I'm thinking, the usual answers. Ferrari, Lamborghini.
A Bugatti, maybe. Yeah, you would think. But they said things like a Ford Focus.
A Ford Focus.
Yeah.
As a dream car.
A Ford Focus. Or a Dodge Challenger. Because their horizon of possibility was so suffocated, they couldn't even conceive of a world where they owned a Ferrari.
Yeah.
In their minds, someone like me doesn't drive a car like that. And this is the danger, right? If you tell yourself, I can't, you are signing a contract with yourself that guarantees you won't.
So how do we tear up that contract? The source outlines 4 beliefs we have to adopt. The first one is, I will become wealthy. But doesn't that just sound like positive affirmation fluff?
It sounds like it, I get that, but it's actually about decision making. If you decide it's going to happen, you start looking for the how.
Instead of just stopping at I can't.
Exactly. And that leads right into the second belief. Money is a tool. A lot of people get hung up on the morality of it all. They think wanting money makes you greedy or evil.
Right. More money, more problems, that whole idea.
Okay.
I think a lot of us have that internal guilt.
We do. But Jaspreet argues that money just amplifies who you already are. If you're a generous person, money gives you the tool to build hospitals.
Or feed the hungry.
Right. And if you're a jerk, well, money just lets you be a louder jerk. but the money itself is neutral.
Okay, that makes sense. Then there's number 3. Money is abundant. This is the shift from scarcity to growth.
Yes, scarcity says cut Starbucks to save $5.
Which has a limit.
It has a hard limit. You can only cut your expenses down to 0, but your income potential is theoretically infinite. The abundance mindset asks, how can I expand the pie?
So instead of obsessing over saving $5, you obsess over how to earn another $50,000.
You got it. Which brings us to the 4th layer, which I found fascinating because it comes from his faith.
The idea that becoming wealthy isn't just a goal, it's a duty.
Yes, this comes from the Sikh faith. The concept is that you need to earn an honest living so you can serve yourself, your family, and your community.
I mean, think about it. You can't help the poor if you're one of them.
Exactly. It completely reframes wealth. It's not an act of selfishness, it's an act of responsibility.
Okay, so we've rewired the software. Now we need to understand the hardware, the rules of the game. And the biggest rule seems to be this tension between the consumer and the investor. I love the Chipotle example he uses.
It's the perfect microcosm of the economy, right?
Yeah.
When you walk into Chipotle and buy that bowl with extra guac, you are the consumer. You get the lunch, which is great, but your money is gone.
It flows away from me and into the pocket of the Chipotle shareholder.
And the system is set up to accelerate that flow, specifically through things like inflation.
I think people get that inflation makes their groceries more expensive, but I don't think they realize how it helps the rich.
Yeah.
Can you break that down?
It's a direct transfer of wealth. Think about it. When inflation hits, the price of everything goes up. Your burrito costs more.
Right. That hurts me, the consumer. My paycheck buys less.
But what happens to the company? Chipotle is now charging more for its product. Their revenue numbers go up on paper.
Which drives the stock price up.
Exactly. The investor owns the asset, the stock, and the asset price rises with inflation. So while your purchasing power is dying, the investor's net worth is growing.
So the investor is hedged against the very thing that is crushing the consumer.
100%. And then you add taxes on top of that, which is the second lever. The tax code is written to incentivize investment. If you earn money as an employee investing your time, you pay the highest tax rates. But if you earn money as an investor, investing your capital,
You pay way less.
significantly less. It's a legal framework designed to keep the wealthy wealthy.
There was one other legal concept he mentioned that really stopped me in my tracks. Fiduciary duty.
Ah, yes.
We hear it in the news, but what does it actually mean for, the guy working a 9 to 5?
It means the system is legally obligated to prioritize the investor over you. A CEO of a public company has a fiduciary duty to the shareholders.
Legally.
Legally. Their boss is not the customer. It is certainly not the employee. Their boss is the stock price.
So if they have to fire 5,000 people to make the stock go up,
They aren't just allowed to do it. The system demands they do it.
that's sobering. You're working for a machine that is legally required to prioritize someone else's wallet. So the takeaway isn't to go live in the woods. It's that you have to play both sides.
Yes. You work the job, but you funnel that money to the investor's side. You have to become the person who gets paid when others spend.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? Because saying it is easy, but doing it with bills to pay is hard. The source outlines a roadmap, and step 3 is getting out of the danger zone.
The danger zone is having no buffer. Jaspreet is very, very blunt here.
I noticed.
If you do not have at least $2,000 saved up, you are in a state of financial emergency. One flat tire, one medical bill, and you spiral into high-interest debt.
And he suggests some pretty extreme measures to get that buffer.
He does. He says if you're in that zone, you cut everything. No eating out, no vacations, and this one hurts. No Netflix.
I can feel people cringing right now. No Netflix.
His argument is that the average American watches 2 to 3 hours of TV a day.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
If you are broke, you do not have the luxury of time. You need to be using those 3 hours to earn that $2,000.
Wow. Fair.
But once you have that buffer, you move to the core system, the 7-5-1-5-10 plan.
I love a good formula. Break it down for us.
For every single dollar you earn, 75% is the absolute maximum for living expenses. Rent, food, car, fun.
Okay.
15% is the minimum you must invest, and 10% is the minimum you save.
I want to pause on the difference there. That 15% and that 10%. Why separate them? Why not just save 25%?
Because savings are just a hedge against disaster. They're for emergencies. But savings will never make you wealthy.
Because of inflation.
Because of inflation. Remember, your cash is losing value every year. Investing, that 15%, that is your freedom fund. That's the money that buys the assets that grow.
And to make this work, you can't just do it in your head. You need separate bank accounts.
3 of them, yes. Automation is key. Have your paycheck hit your main account, then automatically transfer 15% to an investment account and 10% to savings.
Because if you see all that money in one pile,
you will inevitably spend your investment money on a new sweater or a gadget. You have to hide the money from yourself.
Speaking of spending, there's a trap here that gets everyone. 0% APR financing. It sounds like free money.
It's a marketing masterpiece. It's a trap. Companies offer it because it lowers the pain of paying.
Right. You don't feel the $1,000 leaving your account.
You just feel $50 a month. It tricks you into buying things you can't actually afford.
Jaspreet has a rule for this that really acts as a gut check, the rule of 5.
This one is tough. He says if you can't buy 5 of them with cash, you can't afford one.
Oof. So if I want a $1,000 watch,
you better have $5,000 in disposable cash sitting right there.
That rules out pretty much every luxury purchase for most people.
That's the point. It stops you from buying things you think you can afford just because you can make the monthly payment. It forces you to live below your means so you can feed that investment fund.
Okay, let's assume we've disciplined ourselves. We have this 15% capital ready to go. Where does it go? This brings us to, I think, the most exciting part of this deep dive.
The AI boom.
The AI boom.
And this is where we need to be careful because there is so much hype. Jaspreet compares this to the dot-com bubble.
And when people hear bubble, they panic. They think crash.
They do. But remember, when the dot-com bubble burst, the internet didn't go away. Pets.com died, but Amazon
took over the world.
So the goal is to find the survivors. But instead of just guessing which chatbot is going to win, Jaspreet suggests the onion strategy.
Peeling back the layers to find where the money's really flowing.
Exactly. Most people stop at layer 1, the interface. This is ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. It's the consumer-facing app.
The sexy play.
It's the sexy play, but it's also the most crowded and the most competitive.
So we go deeper. Layer 2 is the hardware.
The chips. The computing power. AI is incredibly hungry for processing power. And we're not just talking about standard computer chips here. We're talking about GPUs and eventually quantum computing.
Quantum is a buzzword we hear a lot. What's the practical implication there?
Speed. Just raw speed. Quantum computers can solve problems in seconds that would take our current supercomputers years. The companies building the architecture for that speed.
They're the arms dealers in this war.
They're the arms dealers. Then you go to layer 3, the data center.
Right. The cloud isn't in the sky.
It's in massive physical buildings packed with servers. As AI models get larger, we need more physical real estate to store the data. It's a land play.
Layer 4 connects directly to that. Energy.
This is the one people really overlook. These data centers are massive power hogs. I've seen estimates that AI power demand could double the load on the U.S. grid in certain regions.
That's insane.
So companies that provide efficient energy or renewable solutions to power these centers, that's a hidden layer of the AI trade.
And finally, layer 5. This one surprised me. Cooling.
It's basic physics. All that computing power generates immense heat. If the servers overheat, the AI stops working.
And traditional fans aren't enough.
Not anymore. We are seeing companies dealing in liquid cooling and industrial thermal management becoming absolutely critical. It's not glamorous, but without it, the whole system melts down.
It's brilliant. Instead of betting on who wins the chatbot war, you bet on the infrastructure that all of them need. But investing in volatile tech can be scary. When the market dips, people freak out.
That is the psychology we mentioned at the start. Volatility is the price of admission for high returns. Jaspreet has a memorable acronym for this.
I was waiting for this. Please explain. POP.
POP. Panic leads to overselling, which leads to opportunity, which leads to profit. When the headlines are screaming disaster and everyone is selling out of fear, that is when the savvy investor steps in. You want to be buying when everyone else is panicking.
Buying low, selling high. It's the oldest rule, but the hardest one to follow emotionally.
It is.
Now, there's a limit to all this, right? You can only save so much. You can only invest what you have. Eventually, you hit a wall.
And that's step 6, earning more. You have to feed the 7-5-1-5-10 machine with more fuel.
And this isn't just work harder. It's work smarter. Jaspreet talks about asking for a raise. Most people go in and say, I've been here 3 years, I need more money.
Which is a terrible argument. The boss doesn't care about your tenure. They care about value. You have to flip the conversation, show them the ROI.
So you go in and say,
I can make the company an extra $20,000 this year by doing X, Y, and Z. In exchange, I'd like a $10,000 raise. If you can prove the math, the raise pays for itself.
and if the job says no?
You build something of your own. And again, we come back to AI. He gave this fantastic example of a side hustle for a dentist.
Oh yeah, I love this.
It's a perfect example of solving a pain point. Dentists lose money when patients cancel last minute.
Right, that empty chair costs them.
So you could use existing AI tools to build a system that automatically texts other patients to fill those canceled slots. You aren't inventing the AI, you are applying it to a specific, expensive problem.
That's the key. You don't have to be a coder. You just have to be a problem solver.
And this touches on a really profound point about career security. There's a quote Jaspreet mentioned. You won't be replaced by AI.
But you will be replaced by a person who knows how to use AI.
That's the reality check. Whether you are a writer, a customer service rep, or even a window washer, you need to figure out how these tools apply to your field.
The window washer example was fascinating. Using AI to optimize your routes so you can hit more houses in less time.
It's an edge. And in this economy, you need every single edge you can get.
So let's just recap this whole journey. We start by fixing the mindset right, rejecting scarcity.
Embracing the duty to be wealthy.
Then we learn the rules, shifting from consumer to investor. We get out of the danger zone and implement the system.
The 7-5-1-5-10 split.
We spin smart with the rule of 5. We invest strategically, looking at the layers of the AI onion. And finally, we focus on earning more by solving problems.
It's a comprehensive ecosystem. Mindset, system, strategy, earnings. You need all 4.
Before we go, I want to leave the listener with that final number Jaspreet shared. Because sometimes becoming a millionaire feels totally out of reach.
This is my favorite statistic from the entire deep dive. If you invest just $4 a day, that's less than a latte.
$4 a day.
From the age of 21 to 65, assuming average market returns, you will retire a millionaire.
That just removes the excuse. It's not about some big windfall.
It proves that it's not about hitting a home run. It's about consistency and time.
That is incredibly empowering. But here is the final thought I want to plant in your head. We talked about AI, but Jaspreet mentioned something bigger coming down the pipe, AGI.
Artificial General Intelligence.
What's the difference?
This is the real frontier. AI today is a tool. It gives you a recipe. AGI is an agent. It will go to the store, buy the ingredients, cook the meal, and clean up.
So in business terms, it won't just write a business plan.
We'll file the LLC, hire the staff, and execute the operations.
Which raises a massive question for everyone listening. If AGI is coming, and it can do all of that, the value of human labor is going to shift dramatically. Are you positioning yourself to own the technology and the businesses it runs? Or are you just going to be the consumer who uses it to spend money even faster?
The gap between the consumer and the investor is about to get a lot wider. Choose your side carefully.
That's it for this deep dive into the climb to wealth. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.